Booga, 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 booga. Best start to a video ever. This is Friday. Hey, we're in September. Friday, September 1st. You have coming up due for me your Magic Lens notes, which will be in the back of your notebook, and you can go to my website and the grammar page to get the little video, unless your iPad is haunted by chickens. And then that's going to be due next Wednesday, which is September something. And then we have the short story notes, which is a thing you had to pick up today. For those of you who are playing the home version, here's the papery version that we get to use. Those of you playing the home version, because you're currently dead, we're going to show you how to get the home version of it. Let's see, and then the book report book, that is also due Wednesday. Wednesday is a very big day next week, so then make sure you have that get shown to me. If you are at home, or if you are here, and you left your book at home, use Remind. Take a picture of you holding up the book, so I know you have a physical copy of it, and then that counts, and then I can go ahead and write you down from there. And so as long as you send me not just like a picture on Amazon, it has to be a picture of you like holding the book, so I can see the title and see you in there, and then we're good to go. And the tie game was flying things or transportation, because I did planes, and then a space shuttle, and then a flying doghouse, and then planes, and I tried to make it as easy as possible. Those of you playing the home version, here's where you can get your copy of it. Or for those of you who just lose things a lot, you're more than welcome to keep it on your iPad and then write it all there. I have no problem with you doing it all on your iPad. Some people want to do the writing of it there. Some people like papery bits. I am equal opportunity. If you have the papery bits, by the way, because we're all incredibly responsible, what was the first thing we did at the top of this paper so that Mr. Brovicast would not have to come back and haunt us? Hollyhock?
Put your name on it.
Not that you guys would do that. And I know, Mr. Brovicast, why do you keep doing this every time? You'll notice after I do this every single time, a few kids surreptitiously start furiously scribbling across the table of their paper. That's because I'm helping them out by giving them little reminders, because my heart is full of love. Because someday I'll stop reminding you and just whacking you upside the head with a stick. Like, why would you give it? Oh yeah, because I needed it. You're welcome, is what I do. Now, we're going to get into talking about short stories. Real learning time stuff, because it's time for real learning time. So for this, most of it you should, in theory, know, because you've probably learned about short stories at some point in your life. But as I've learned, some kids don't do real good at that learning bit, so I'm going to do a wee bit of reviewy bits. If you know all of this, yay, it'll be easy. If you don't know all of this, yay, teaching for me. So we're going to go through. For this, you get to use this on all future quizzes and tests coming up, of which we have one in just a moment today. We're going to have a pop one that's not on there. It's not for a grade. It's for my moral judgment of you. And so we're going to get to that here in a moment too. And you get to cheat off of other people, which also affects my moral judgment of you. But having this makes your life easier. The better you make this and the better information you put on there, the more you get to use it. So, yay. First one, plot. Do you guys know what plot is? Ooh, Elizabeth?
Plot is like the main idea of the story, what's happening in it.
That one I'll use. I'm going to avoid main idea, which I think they hit on you guys with 6th grade. We're going to introduce and talk about theme, and that's too close to the definition of theme, so I avoid main idea. I do like the word what, because pretty much anytime we get into a plot, it's going to be the what happens in the story. We're also going to be doing an outline of it. Every time we do a story, we break our plot down into 5 parts, which is why on the back of the paper, you're going to see the fact that it has plot, goes into 5 things, and that would be our outline. So it's just what happens in the story, the basic description of things that are occurring in there. Boy with scar with 2 friends gets hunted by evil noseless wizard. That'd be an example of a plot. I mean, it's a very, very basic plot, but it tells you what happens in there. Group of boys find one girl in giant maze and try to escape before it crushes them and weird monster creatures attack. That'd be an example of a C. A good plot, when you give it, people can figure out what the plot or what the book is or what the story is by what you describe it. That's a plot. You're telling me what's happening in there. Boy finds box of tapes and has to listen to them to find out why girl no longer is with us. It could be so many things. I like the sequel, 14 Reasons Why Not. Next up, character. And what are characters? All of us. Well, yes, nailed it, but we're going to be more descriptive than that. Lurton?
Subjects.
Yes, that is a word. You are on the right track. Brush?
It's the people in the book.
Does it have to be people?
Nouns.
Just Like shoe, desk?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
No. But I did like how confidently you gave that as an answer. Judge?
A living being narrated in the story.
So it can't be like a train?
No, it can't. Wait, no.
Even if the train is friends with the conductor?
No, but if the train.
Can it be a sponge that lives under the sea? So that's where it gets tough. We're like, but so it can't be objects? Well, I mean, it depends. Like sometimes it's a toaster because it's brave. Sometimes it's not a toaster because you get bread in it because you're hungry. So we're going to define it as just the who. If it is a who in the story, then yes. And in some stories, sponges are who's. In other stories, you use them to scrub a dish. It just sort of depends on the story.
In other stories, who's are who's?
That is. There's like a whole ville of them. What's the ville called? Who knows? No, close. Whoville. That's an early morning Friday joke. You can tell because you went, Brovicast, that one hurt. I know. It's okay. So the characters, the who, and one of the fun things we're going to do is, this year we get to start introducing you more into this critical thinking thing. Because oftentimes in stories, there are going to be like 5, 6, 7 characters, and you're going to have to tell me the 3 most important characters. But Mr. Brovicast, there's 7 characters. Yes, but which ones are the 3? But I don't know. I know. And then you're going to have to argue with someone to convince them why your 3 are different than their 3, and why your 3 are the better 3. Because what happens in it. But that's going to require me to think and argue. Yep. That's sort of how life is going to work. It's going to be all kinds of fun for me. You guys are probably going to freak out. Setting. There are 2 bits to our setting bits. Harper?
Where the story takes place and what objects are included in the story.
That is halfway correct. The what objects got a little on the strange side. I like where you're going. Kiera?
Where and when the story takes.
There you go. I think the first half was very strong. The where and the when, or the time and the place. Sometimes they're going to come right out and tell us. And you'll find out just right there in there, it'll say, it was 1952 and I was sitting in a diner. Other times they're going to say, I was using a cell phone and my English teacher was talking. And I'll say, where was it? Like, I have no idea. Well, if your English teacher was talking, on a train? Nope. And so you're going to have to use clues in the story to figure it out. Sometimes the author's obvious, other times the author hates you. And so we're going to have to go through there and do the arguing and the thinky bits to find out from there. That's what makes life fun. Well, that and pickles.
Yeah.
Not for eating, but like throwing at birds.
Oh.
Point of, yeah, I had no idea that was fun. See, now you learned something on a Friday. Birds hate pickles. Point of view, except for the ones that like pickles. Those are weird. We're like penguins and stuff. Grips?
The perspective that you see the character or that the character sees.
Wow, that's a big word and long and a little confusing, but I like where you went with that one. Not bad. I'm gonna dumb it down a little bit, but I like you reaching for the stars on that. Jessup?
The person narrating the story.
Not bad. Not bad. I went sticking with my what, who, when, where, and sticking with question words. I went for
Why?
ooh, no, why's coming up a little bit.
What?
I did how. How the plot is told in the story, or the perspective for those of you who want to put on your fancy pants for the day. Or how we see the story. Is that like perspective? Yes, it's like perspective. Good job. And then you're going to see that it has like those little lines. You're going to have to squish things in there because it's going to talk about the different examples. There's 3 different types of point of views that we're going to get to. Well, there's 2 main types, and then one of those types we get to split in half. Those different types, sorry, I'm all hickory, is going to be, well, I'll throw it to you guys. What are the different types?
First
First person, third person limited, third person omniscient. So hopefully that helps you out from there. The main thing will be telling the difference between first person and third person. And then we'll break down the third person from there. A first person story, for you guys, us playing the home game doesn't help you, but for second period, yay, we have 13 Reasons Why, which is being told in first person. Bianca, how is a first person story told?
It's told by the person who is the main character of the story.
That's what I'm looking for.
Using words.
Main character is telling the story. You will know it because it says the I, me, and we when not in dialogue. Mr. Brovicast, I can't fit all that in there. I write too big. then you're going to have to sort of cut it down and abbreviate, find a way to help yourself. That's why I give you the big words in the red. Like those are the main bits. So first person, main character is telling I, me, we. It's just the main character. I was walking down the street. I saw a dinosaur. I was like, what the heck? And then I was like, oh, there's Chris Pratt. I must be on a movie set. That movie took that story took a turn. The difference between first person and third person does not have a main character telling us the story. There's someone completely different telling the story. It starts with an N. There you go. And then for third person narrator, the difference between limited and omniscient is how many characters it follows. Limited follows?
One.
Omniscient follows?
More than one.
More than one. It's Latin for many. So limited is Spanish for one. And then omniscient is Greek for many. So narrator, many characters. Limited, one character. And then once we get that in there, it's time for our pop quiz. Oh yes. Like everything I do, it's going to be fun and make you a better person. But not everything you do is fun. You're here.
You say that, but you're making us be known about a dead children's book.
That's what makes it fun. Well, read about live children's books. They're boring. Kids like eating breakfast and stuff like that. Right? I feel the same way. This is getting ready to disappear. And you're not going to freak out.
Is it going to be a magic trick?
Because it's in your brain. Now, before you freak out, what is it you're writing down? The difference between first and third person. You already know the difference. Third person is told by a
Narrator.
how many characters does limited follow?
One.
How many characters does omniscient follow?
One.
What is it you needed on that screen that you didn't just tell me?
Your exact word.
You don't need my exact words.
Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. Just kidding. No, you don't get it. We call that taunting. Yeah, I don't want it in my exact words because I want you to remember it. If it has to be filtered through your brain, there's a better chance of you memorizing it. So you're going to put it down there and figure it out. It's all there. Have faith in yourself, Dumbos. Throw the feather to the side and jump off the side. I'm going to go splat, probably, but some of you will. Here is how our pop quiz is going to work. I have little bits that I have excerpts. Some are from stories, some are written for us by an author, and we're going to go through and read them, and we're going to vote as a class. Is it first person, third person limited, or third person omniscient? But Mr. Brovicast, there's another one. There actually is a fourth point of view that we're not going to use. The magical fourth one. Do you know what the fourth one is, those of you who've taken comp class? What comes before between first and third? Second. Why would we not use second? How is second told?
Because it's dumb.
It is, but Harper,
It's like directions like you and...
this one it says you will do things, unless you're doing a choose your own adventure book, which we're not doing, which are awesome. We're not going to be using you. I'm going to do first, third, limited, third, omniscient. All right. I will read it, and then all together we're going to vote on the different ones. Zach repeated the phrase to himself again as he glanced at the numbers scrawled on the piece of paper clutched in his hand. As long as he kept his cool and didn't look suspicious, he'd be fine. This would be easy. It had been easy the first several times he'd done this, and it would continue to be easy for as long as he kept his cool. So raise your hand if you say first person, third person limited, third person omniscient.
Wait.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's impossible to tell as there's only one character if it is omniscient or limited.
That would make it actually not impossible. That'd be the opposite, which makes it possible. So using just this as your information. This is our scientific set that we have. Why do you say it's not first person?
Because it's
Because
name.
You don't say I or me or.
And how do we know it's Brady? How do we know it's not omniscient?
Because there's only one character.
Now, the second paragraph may introduce another character, but I didn't use that paragraph, so we're not going to have to worry about that bit.
What book?
Next up, this is actually a short story we have coming up that we're going to read.
Oh, yay.
About a kid who breaks into lockers.
Oh,
Well, now I know half the story.
Do you know the first paragraph of the story? You are correct. Good job. And it's a 2 paragraph. Oh, no, you do not have it. Just kidding, it's not. On the night of the day on which this cruel deed was done, I was aroused from sleep by the cry of fire. The curtains of my bed were in flames. The whole house was blazing. It was with great difficulty that my wife, a servant, and myself made our escape from the inferno. The destruction was complete. My entire worldly wealth was swallowed up, and I resigned myself from then on to despair. Raise your hand if you say first person, third person limited, third person omniscient.
Sorry. No, I was first person.
You were just still celebrating the fact that Hollyhock threw things in the air in her celebration. We were all confused. Why do you say it's first person? What's our clue?
It's first person.
I, because character talking to us.
I thought it was saying my wife, a servant.
Wow.
Like, wait.
Also a short story we will
Vowels
read
are important.
where his wife is a servant. This one's a poem that mixes things up a little bit to make it a bit more challenging, but poems can also have point of views. So let's see how well you do here. Maggie, Millie, and Molly and May went down to the beach to play one day, and Maggie discovered a shell that sang so sweetly she could remember her troubles, and Millie befriended a stranded star whose rays 5 languid fingers war, and Molly was chased by a horrible thing which raced sideways while blowing bubbles, and May came home with a smooth round stone, as small as the world, as large as alone. For whatever we lose, like a you or a me, it's always ourselves we find in the sea. That was a story about children, and none of them died. Raise your hand if you say first person, third person limited, third person omniscient.
Oh wait.
Well then, why are you saying omniscient over limited? It follows Maggie, and then Millie, and then Molly. So it makes it omniscient because it jumps around from the different characters that they're following. Now, we'll make it a little bit tougher. We'll crank up the toughometer. We'll read this one, and then same thing again. As I walked up the hill, I realized that the atmosphere was just too quiet. There was no sound from the bunny monster, who was nearly always growling from the base of the maple tree. What is he waiting for? I wondered suspiciously. He's such an awful little creature. Oh, apparently I left off the quote at the end. No. Period.
We're gonna have to take you back to
Quotation
Tom.
marks. I apologize. That's what happens when you're typing it quickly. So now we'll see what you can vote. Those of you who say first person, raise your hand. Those of you who say third person limited. Third person omniscient. Ooh. Why do we have the disagreement? Why?
Because it says I like 4 times.
But it also says he.
It says he.
That's
That's
in
in dialogue.
No, once again, cannot count anything in dialogue. So just the stuff not in dialogue. That's why I try to make it a little trickier.
Is it technically in dialogue since you forgot the quotation?
Maybe I just cut off the rest of the sentence because I was like, I'm bored of the story. Next up. As the student walked up the hill, she realized that the atmosphere was just too quiet. The bunny monster tipped its head back and drew back breath to growl, but just as the first grrr passed his lips, he stopped and instead gurgled out, "I will eat your toes, silly human, they are delicious." Hearing the intimidating words, the girl shrieked and then broke into giggles. "I don't have any toes, you silly creature," she sang out. "You have nothing to eat today."
That is just.
That is written by an author for us. So, if you say first person, raise your hand. Third person limited. Third person omniscient.
I know. I say limited. I'm sorry.
What?
So why is it not first person?
That's
Nicely
dialogue.
done. And then between the limited and omniscient, does the narrator follow more than one or just one?
More.
More than so. Hearing the intimidating words, the girl shrieked and then broke. So I think it follows the girl and then follows the bunny monster, makes it omniscient. Which means we didn't get my other fun ones, which is too bad. No, we are going to do it together. So as long as you were with me and you wrote down what we covered, you are good. Next week, we'll finish out the rest of our quiz and see how smart you are. Stuff due on Wednesday.